Hello everyone and welcome to Assassin's Creed Unity. So I was trying to debate what to play, and as I've mentioned about 50 times at this point, I've been replaying Assassin's Creed, the Ezio trilogy, and I've been really enjoying it. And I did do a quick video on AC Valhalla, and as much as I enjoy that game, playing the older games, it kind of made me realise that's not the elements that I like in AC Valhalla aren't really the elements that made me fall in love with the series. For me, it's all about the parkour and like the dense population, like the stealth combat, and that kind of thing. And I think AC Unity has aged quite well. Graphically, it's beautiful. They fixed a bunch of the bugs and stuff at release, and for me, it is the best gameplay in the series. I'll talk more about that as we go through the game, as we come into it. And I was originally just going to do a kind of a walk and talk, like walking around the map, talking about the things I do and don't like, but I figured it's been so long since I played this. I only played it once when it first came out, and I did all the co-op with my friend, and it was a great time. So I figured, let's give it another go, see how it does hold up now. So anyway, without further ado, sit back and enjoy, and here we go.
The past is not lost. The past lives inside us. Encoded in the double helix are the experiences of our ancestors. After 3 decades of research, our engineers have forged the cutting edge of biotechnological interfaces. We have unlocked the lives of our forebears. We have opened a window into the past. This is total immersion entertainment. With the press of a button, you will experience the most pivotal moments in history. All from the comfort of home. Welcome to Helix, where the past is your playground.
So that was a brief intro there. I will say, I'm very disappointed how the series has handled the present day stuff. I think back in the day, I kind of complained a lot about the present day stuff, but in hindsight, it wasn't that element of the game was bad. In fact, it was very interesting. It made the series very unique. It was that they just weren't doing enough with it. I was really hoping we would eventually get a modern day Assassin's Creed, and I really don't think, I mean, a lot of people kind of say, well, Watch Dogs kind of filled that void. I don't think so. A big part of Assassin's Creed is the lore, it's not just the gameplay of being in a sin. Also, the gameplay wasn't really the same in Thingy. But it's also the iconic, it's the iconography of Assassin's Creed that is interesting. I mean, they've done such a good job designing the outfits and stuff. Anyway, I just think they should have built to it. I would have loved to have seen Desmond actually become, and we got, like, it was so close. We got bits of that in Assassin's Creed 3, and I really thought that's what they were building to. And spoilers for Assassin's Creed 3, but they then just killed him off. It was so bizarre. And I've not really been a fan of how they've handled it of late. I mean, Black Flag was the first kind of time where they really pulled it back and you just had this first person perspective. But at that point, it's so boring, you might as well just not even have it in the game. I know they've brought back a protagonist in the newer games, but I've played a bit, and from what I've seen, it's not very interesting. Kind of, to me, felt just like a retread of what they did with Desmond. And since you'd already spent like 5 games building up Desmond, I felt like we might as well have carried on with him if that's what you're going to do. Either way, the stuff in Unity is okay. It's not particularly boring. It's just this opening cutscene. Sorry, if you were coming here for like a just a regular let's play, that's probably not what this is going to be. I am going to probably play the whole game. Probably do some co-op too, but a big reason of why I'm playing this is just to kind of talk about it, talk about the series as a whole. So if that's your kind of thing, welcome. If not, that's okay. I appreciate you stopping by. But anyway, let's get started.
Last of the heroic Knights Templar, Jacques de Molay was a man of principle, a towering intellect, betrayed by those he trusted. In this episode of Fallen Heroes, experience Jacques de Molay's final tragic hours through the eyes of one of his closest friends and advisors.
I always thought this was very strange. I don't really remember much about the story, but I always thought it was very strange. We kind of started as just somebody else entirely. It's very cool though. I would kind of like to, because I never played Assassin's Creed. I'll talk about it in a second.
I must speak with the Grand Master.
He's in session. They all are. Another day, perhaps.
King Philip disagrees.
Damn you, man. Why you're not rotting in a cell at this moment, I cannot fathom.
We are betrayed. Draw your swords, men. Defend the temple. Not you, brother. I have a different task for you. Come with me.
So yeah, anyway, I was saying I never played Assassin's Creed 1. It was just I started with Brotherhood. I have gone back and played 2 at this point, but 1 I've heard is very dated. And so yeah, I've never touched upon it, but I would really like to visit kind of that time period again. I think it looks very cool. I like the idea of like knights and stuff also being assassins. I mean, this guy might be a Templar, I don't really know. Oh, okay, yeah, we're Templars. Right. So as you can see, the game looks fantastic. I mean, it's very dark right now, but it looks very nice and it's running well. I think the combat is the best the series has been. It's not too difficult and it's not too easy. It's just a really good balance. And the animations are all very nice in my opinion. Not as cartoony as the newer games, which I felt a bit arcadey. This feels still somewhat the realm of realism, although I would say Syndicate really backsteps in that regard. Yeah, it's running well. There was some stuttering during the cutscene. I'm not sure why that is. I assume maybe the shaders are being rendered in. But look at it, the lighting's very nice. I am running this on max settings, by the way. If you're interested, my setup is an RTX 3070 with an i7 and 32GB of RAM. So, you know, not the. I mean, it's a pretty powerful system, but not the most powerful. And it's, you know, it's running a solid 60 FPS. Oh, this is 1440p, by the way. I'm not sure if anyone really cares about specs, but I've seen other YouTubers talk about it, so if you're interested, again, the game's pretty old at this point, so, and it still looks great though. I always love revisiting older games because they run way better than when I first played them. My PS4 really struggled to run this when I first got it. So it's nice to come back to it and have it look and run far nicer. I will say the faces are the only thing that I think that have aged not quite as well. They look a little waxy, in my opinion. But besides that, you know, it looks very, very good.
The tower! They've breached the tower! They've taken them!
Wow, that was quite the jump. That is one thing that I am shocked they didn't really bring back to the game. To the other games, it's the fact, like, you can climb down in this game far better and far quicker, and it looks so smooth and it's so interesting visually, and they just kind of got rid of that, and I don't know why, because it's amazing. I always thought it was amazing. I love this dude's outfit. It's literally just like a black version of Altair. It's amazing. This combat to me is way nicer than anything in AC Valhalla. I hate seeing the dumb little numbers. I hate how floaty and arcadey it all feels. This feels so much nicer. I think part of the reason for its bad reception was just the start and having it, you know, have so many technical issues. It's very sad. Kind of a funny story, actually. I kind of for my birthday, oh sorry, for Christmas I think it was, I picked a different game, not this. But I did really want this, and my dad happened to just go to the supermarket, and this is very exciting. This combat feels great. But anyway, he came back and surprised me with a game. He says, "Brand, you know, it's only £20, and for a brand new game, it's only been out a week. It was insane." And I didn't understand why, because I played the game on PS4 and it was fine. The frame rate was a bit stuttery back then, but that didn't really bother me. I didn't really know a lot about frame rate and stuff. I just thought, oh, okay, it's just a hard to run game, I guess. Which is true, I guess, but I didn't think too much of it, because I'd only played console games at that point, and I was just so excited to play the game in general, so it just didn't matter to me. But in hindsight, it's because they had lowered the price so much because of the issues, but I never experienced them, so maybe that's why I've got a much fonder memory of this game, which is very sad, because I think if it had come out in a much better state, this would be remembered a lot more fondly, and I think you see that now. Like, generally the online discourse that I have seen about this game is very positive. Everyone praises the complexity of the parkour, and I hope they bring that back in the new Assassin's Creed game. I think it's Mirage, and they have said that's being taken back to a more traditional Assassin's Creed game, so I really hope that's what they do. Oh, he didn't die somehow? That's cool. I love that they got like a black version of the Altair armor. I used to hate the Altair armor. As I said, I didn't have any fondness for it because I didn't play the first game. Because I'm playing Revelations right now, and you play some of the missions in there. You play as Altair, basically. The outfit is fantastic. It's so iconic and fits the time period so well. Oh, it's amazing.
You will answer for your crimes before God Almighty. And you, King Philip, no punishment is too heinous for the great evil you have inflicted upon the temple. I curse you! Curse you to the 13th generation of your blood! You shall be cursed!
Consumed in flames of hunger and wrath, thus came the age of true wisdom to a blistering close. The Knights Templar, once the proud shepherds of order, peace, and illumination, were no more.
Yeah, let's get a sniffer running. If Abstergo pings us, pull me out. Okay. I have a visual. Hey there. This is probably disorienting, so I'll be brief. I'm Bishop, not my real name, obviously, but that's as much as you'll get today. Please listen carefully. Abstergo is using you, hijacking your neurons to help them sift through genetic memory data. These guys have their fingers in countless corporations, governments, media
outlets and NGOs. But now, they want control over history itself. If that doesn't frighten you, it should. But we're here to stop them, and I need your help. Deacon, preload gene sequence AD16, B13, I87.
Yep, spooning it up.
Last week, we gained access to a bank of unsequenced memories in Abstergo's Helix servers. For now, we'd like you to experience a small sample. This should help you understand our struggle. And after that, you can decide for yourself what comes next. We'll be waiting.
So this is all very vague. I guess they wanted to keep it simple to get you right into the game, but I did like that beginning section of, like, you know, Abstergo editing, maybe not editing, but just selectively showing scenes to make the Templars look like the good guys. But you know, the future stuff, because it doesn't feel like it's building to anything. It all feels very inconsequential. I know hair was a big thing they critiqued in this game, which, I mean, you know, it's not brilliant, but for the time period, it's okay, I think.
Courage, my boy. You wait just here.
He wears a hood all the time too, so who cares?
When this hand reaches the top.
That's forever.
Not as long as all that. And when I get back, we'll see the fireworks. And Arno, no exploring. Hmm?
Yes, Father.
I will say, I'm sorry if that child is modelled after a real child. He's fucking terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying. That was one thing that I remember graphically that really impressed me, because, you know, everyone had kind of cloth outfits, but they had suede in this game, and I couldn't believe how well they got the suede texture right. Look at that. It's like, you can see it kind of shine slightly. It looks amazing. Oh, looks so good. Oh, sorry.
Garde, attrapez-les. Just you wait till the guards get here.
Quickly. Bet you can't steal one.
I bet I can. Watch me.
Thief! Put that back!
Fucking thief. How am I a thief? Aren't I like... Oh, sorry, I think we're visiting. I mean, would a guard really go after this rich kid for, like, taking an apple? I mean, look at me, I'm clearly, like, borderline royalty. It controls so well. Like, the character has weight to him that it just does not feel present in the newer games. Which is crazy, because in this game you can, like, float down buildings like a madman, but it still looks and feels really satisfying. Ah, go away. Oh. Just good. Ah! Is he after me still? I can't tell.
Did you see their faces when we stole those apples?
No, but have you seen your face?
I'm here with my father. So am I. He has important business with the king. What should we do now? Shh. Listen. Don't worry, they'll never think to look for us in here. It was my fault. I'm the one who took the apple. Let's see where they're going.
I don't know about that, Chief. This is fun. I'm like tiny. I want to parkour as this dude. Everything would look so much bigger. God damn, that slide looks good. Woo. Father? Father? Please, father. I loved the connection that I think his name was Shane McCormack or something like that. He was the one from AC Rogue. No, AC Rogue? Maybe AC Rogue, I think that's what it was called. Who killed his dad. That's a fun little tie-in. I like the fact as well, he's a bit like Batman, you know? He never really finds the exact person who did it, but he just knows it was the Templars. Unless I'm completely misremembering the plot, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes.
Anno, look at me.
So you stoop to thieving, you bastard!
Calm down, Victor. I've only come for my watch.
It's my watch. I want it fairly.
Well, in a just world, Victor, I would agree with you, but this is not a just world. This is France.
You're a dead man.
Ooh, step lightly there. You'll hurt yourself. I just had a nice chat with your brother.
Hugo, fetch the marshals.
Hold on a minute.
So that's I think that's a great intro to this character. If you're interested, I'd watch White Light's video on this. It's very informative and he speaks very eloquently. But I think it was him who touched on the fact Arno is a very likable character. He's the most likable character, I think, since Ezio in the entire, you know, series. But it's the story that does such a disservice because he just ends up being like mopey and just moping after, is it Elise, the redhead? And it's just, it's very lame, you know?
Big-headed blacksmith like you probably can't even read a watch.
Come over here and say that.
Yeah, it's pretty mean, but whatever. He's a fun guy, he's a fun little character. I loved this setting too. I think by far, France is the most visually interesting city we've ever had in Assassin's Creed. It's so dense. I remember in the trailers they showed just how dense the this city was. And it's perfect. All the buildings are very close together. That was my main gripe with Assassin's Creed 3, is that the buildings were so far apart and there were so many guards on top of the roofs that it actively dissuaded you from climbing and freerunning, which is the most fun part of the game for me. But with this, like, there's so much verticality because we're kind of newer, like the buildings are very tall, but they're also very packed close together, and there's like the crowds, because the population is so dense. For the first time in AC, I really felt like it was believable that you could blend in. Because, you know, in the old games, there was just a handful of NPCs and you're dressed very poshly. And it's like, you know, why can't you be seen? Whereas in this, you don't dress that crazily. Like, you kind of just dress normally, kind of on the higher end, although you can dress on the lower end again. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But the customization in this game is tremendous. And again, I feel like every game since this has backstepped. Look at that parkour there. Look how fucking smooth that was. I mean, we're kind of stuck a bit there, but that's okay, you know? That's fine. Excuse me.
And where in God's name have you been?
Huh. Got you now, you little shit.
just a little misunderstanding. Nothing to...
Your master's harboring a common criminal. In broad daylight, he broke into my home and stole my watch.
Did he indeed? Well, I'm sure the Marshalsea would be more than willing to sort this out.
Sort what out, Olivier?
A most serious accusation against your ward, sir.
He robbed me.
Of what, precisely? Wait for me in my library.
Don't give me that look. Victor cheats when he plays Pharaoh. Everyone knows it.
Arno? Who are you talking to?
No one, monsieur.
Oof, pretty
You'll
cringe.
be happy to learn I persuaded Olivier to leave off calling the Marshalsea. Again.
Je vous remercie, monsieur.
What is this? The 6th time? The 7th? Perhaps a new hobby might be better for your health.
Well, I find playing cards affords many opportunities for fresh air and exercise.
We'll talk about this later. I have business in town and must collect Elise before I can attend to it.
Elise is here.
Only for the night. She returns to Paris first thing tomorrow.
She'll need an escort. Won't she with you so preoccupied?
One of you running amok is quite enough. Remain here and see if Olivier has any chores for you.
Sure he does.
What was that?
Give my regards to Elise.
So some of these textures, when you kind of zoom in on them during the firstly, the cutscenes seem to be running smoother, so I imagine it was a shader issue. Some of these textures close up have clearly aged not as well. The guy's hat, who we were chasing, was a bit smooth, but overall, visually, just the interiors and just the everywhere has so much detail that you don't really look like this gold. From here, it looks fantastic. If you get up close a bit, it can look a bit aged. But because of the amount of detail, it just, I don't know, for me, visually it all comes together. I think it's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, let's get started.
Thrown out onto the street yet?
Oh, you would love that, wouldn't you?
It'd break my heart.
Olivier, if I weren't here, who'd do all your work for you?
The horses need brushing, boy. Get to it.
Certainement, monsieur.
Oof, there's that suede again. Looks so fucking good.
Sire de la Serre, wait! Nom de Dieu, nom de Dieu.
Some trouble, mon ami?
A letter for Sire de la Serre. It's very important.
Oh, calm yourself, Perrault. That letter won't reach Monsieur de la Serre any faster if you drop dead of exhaustion. Give it here. I'll catch
You
him.
must receive it today. It's very...
Very important. Yes, I heard you the first time. I'll see that he gets it.
Make way, make way!
Damn it, slow down!
I really like the sound design
Walnut is a popular finish this season.
on the rooftops, like the pitter patter. I watched a very interesting video recently, just before I played this, in fact, and it made me want to play it even more. Essentially, the video was explaining that a big reason why Assassin's Creed Unity was frowned upon and the parkour was seen as quite messy was because... Oh,
Please excuse. Wrong carriage. What I need is a bird's eye view
Anyway, it was because, again, oh, look how dense and just alive this place looks, and that suede again looks so fucking good. In the old games, you'd have to hold the right trigger and then X or A, depending on what controller you're using. And so, for most people, including me, this is typically what I did. However, you don't need to do that, especially when you're just traversing up front. You'll see that those animations are very smooth and nice. Whereas if you hold X, you see like he tends to just leap for the furthest thing. And it can look kind of silly. But if you've, you know, come from the other games, look how smooth that was. You know? Even to climb this, oh sorry, to climb this you need to tap X, let's say. But if you're climbing something relatively small, you don't need to tap X, you can just hold R2 and you'll be fine. And it's a lot nicer than holding 2 buttons to parkour. I think it's a good middle ground than what we have now where you just don't press anything. Essentially, you can just move the trigger. Oh. He still does that. I think there should be a manual button to get in these things. But either way, it's very nice, basically. So the reason I was messing around with the graphics settings is you can see that is an issue, so I assume too that I am on the highest settings now. I was on high before, but I'm on ultra high. And you can see there is some softness, quite a dramatic level of softness to the distant buildings, which is unpleasant, I will admit. Like, you see that there. But, yeah, like that one there. While you're parkouring, you don't notice it because you're, you know, just going about stuff and you're kind of looking at what's close to you. So it's only really when you, like, stop and examine things. But, you know, I think honestly it's a minor gripe. I mean, maybe to a lot of people it will be very annoying, but to me, I don't mind too much. As I said, this just feels so good to play. It's so much more satisfying than the newer games. And yeah, I mean, these buildings don't look great from far away. I wish, you know. Again, if you're just moving about though, you don't really notice it. It's only when you proper hone in on a single building and you think, you can also see the population density has dropped all the way down. Like, there's nobody there. But, yeah, that's okay. That's fine. I mean, there's still a fair amount there, to be fair. This is one thing I've always... It's a minor gripe, but it's literally something I have thought about since I was, like, a kid. When the game tells you what year it is, maybe I'm the only one, I strongly think, look how fucking, oh my god, that felt so good. I got such, that was amazing. That is nicer than like any descent in the newest game. The newest games you just leap off because they seem to have really lowered full damage and you just jump off. I can't believe they got rid of this mechanic, or maybe I'm insane and they didn't get rid of it. So as I said, this city is really dense. Like, you look around here and it feels very alive and the textures are all nice. It's only really when you get very high that, maybe I'm wrong. I'm looking at that building and you can see quite a bit of pop-in. Interesting. This is the first time I'm playing the PC version, so maybe the PC version is still more riddled with gameplay bugs than the console version was, which wouldn't be a first for, you know, PC ports from console. We'll see how annoying that gets. It is kind of immersion breaking. But again, the gameplay is so good. But anyway, what I was talking about was some artifacting over there as well. Doesn't bode well. But yeah, anyway. I still think it looks very nice overall. But yeah, the descent, they got rid of that. And it's so fluid and so impressive that I just can't believe they would get rid of it. Look how good that looks. Wow. I mean, maybe everyone else is less impressed, but it really makes you feel like, you know, a skilled assassin. I hate in the Ezio trilogy when you have to, like, get down a building, you have to kind of walk to the edge, click circle, and then slowly descend down, or you can just let go and then hold circle again to grab a ledge. It's not very pleasant.
Un long intervalle s'était écoulé depuis une dernière venue des États généraux. Et quoique la convocation de ces assemblées parut être tombée en désuétude, je n'ai pas balancé à rétablir un meilleur. Et qui peut ouvrir à la nation une nouvelle source de bonheur.
Finally.
La
Not these
tête
two
de
again.
l'État,
Must have tailed me
déjà
from the estate.
immense à mon avènement au trône,
Really, highly doubt that.
aurait cru
We were so fast.
une guerre dispendieuse mais honorable en a été la cause. L'augmentation des impôts en a été la suite nécessaire et a rendu plus
I think
sensible
maybe
une égale répartition.
this game, I mean, we'll see more in the gameplay elements, but I think it was so ambitious at the time with all these interiors, and I just think the hardware couldn't handle it, or maybe development was rushed, because I think this could have been an absolute gem,
Council of capable men.
and instead it's more of like a diamond in the rough.
A truce then.
What the devil was that about?
Ooh.
Now, we can resolve this without recourse to violence, can't we? Get him, Yuko! I suppose not. Get him, Yuko! Easy, big fella.
Dodging in this feels very good. I like how that looks and feels. Oh, I can't. I see. I really like as well that the combat's more difficult this time around,
Not your day, is it, Victor?
because it really entices you to be stealthy, and they drastically improved the stealth mechanics. This was the first game where you could actually, you know, crouch. Ow. How is he just openly firing into a crowded area? This guy's insane. But yeah, this is really immersive, like, you know, like how dense the crowds are. Like, I really believe, like, yeah, I could get very lost here. Just the scale of things too, because the camera is a lot... Oh, they are explaining the parkour. That's a very... It's okay. It's an okay explanation, but it doesn't really go into all the nuances. But, I feel like the camera is a lot closer this time around than the other Assassin's Creed games. And because of that, the buildings, the scale of them looks far bigger. And it's just very immersive. It's very pleasant to walk around in this game. Even though, you know, the setting is very ugly, let's say, you know. So there, I didn't click X, I just held R2. And that was me with circle, and so he like kind of has a quick vault over. And so it's just a lot more fluid. I think it does take a little while to figure out what you can and can't do without clicking X at the same time, but we'll see how that affects things. Anyway, let's get started. I'm not going to do too much side content until we actually get a bit further into the game and we get our assassin's gear, because that's my main reason to... I will get these though, because they're a pain. That's my main reason to do side content, is just to, you know, level up essentially. Sorry, I'm not even trying to say level up, I'm trying to say get new gear. It's really hard to have a single thought when you're, you know, playing games at the same time. It sounds very strange. I assume I'll get better the more I do it. If I'm doing videos with my girlfriends, obviously it's much easier because I'm just talking to somebody else, but because it's just me talking to you guys, it's very weird. I guess I could do streaming. But that tends to... I don't have a capture card, so it tends to really hurt my performance if I stream at the same time. So that was a good example, I think, of me not being sure if I should hold X or not to free run up, because it was a ladder. I thought maybe I would just start climbing it, but I guess not. Okay, I guess we're finding all of the cockades immediately. Excuse me, guys. Thank you. Yeah, this definitely feels a lot smoother to play. The old Assassin's Creed games have this kind of stickiness, which is still present here. It's just because of the complexity added to the parkour mechanics, it's just a lot more manageable. whereas the newer games, they're a lot simpler. And yeah, it does help, but at the cost of engaging parkour, I think. Okay, let's do it.
Bonsoir, Olivier. Has Monsieur de la Serre returned?
Senor de la Serre is not expected until late.
Ah, well. I suppose I'll just pass the time with Elise then.
Don't get your hopes up just yet. Mademoiselle is at a private soiree in her honor at the palace.
A party? I wasn't invited.
Neither were the horses.
I'm sure she just misplaced my invitation. I'll find my own way in. How late is late?
Perhaps an hour, perhaps 3, perhaps not at all. I do not question the comings and goings of my betters.
I'll just wait here then.
Ah yes, I completely forgot I have eagle vision.
I could just slip it under the door. He'd see it the instant he returned. There. Safe and sound, and only slightly delayed. And now, to the palace. I couldn't sneak through a sewer in these threads, much less a ball.
I mean, I think he looks pretty dapper, to be honest, but
Here, mon ami.
alright.
Let me take care of that.
Thank you, young man.
Fair enough, that does look even more dapper.
Maximilien Robespierre. No guest.
Oh no. Le Chevalier du Télème.
Invitation, s'il vous plaît.
About that, I had one, of course, but on the web...
No invitation, no admittance. Now clear the queue. Next, please. Charles Gabriel Siver. 2 guests. Next, please.
Oh man, he like barely bent his knees. Are your knees okay? Jesus. Sorry, I need to turn off this effect I really hate. I know it lets me know when he's being stealthy, but I cannot stand how heavy the UI is on this game. Conflict, friend, widget. Do we turn off the entire HUD? It's not available in co-op mode, so we'll try light, see how that goes. That's much better. Wow, we can actually enjoy the game now. Oh. Oh, okay. Still here, I guess. I assume I could not get away with just climbing in there, right? I mean, there's no way. Or is there? My dude, that is so sus. Fair enough. Oh. I thought I'd turn tutorials off, thank you very much. Oh, that was close. Interesting. So Eagle Vision seems to be more of a pulse than a constant state. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. I mean, you can see through walls now, which I guess is a bit overpowered. Sorry, I don't know why it got rid of the map. I do want the map. Oh, you see nothing. Shit. Guys, you don't understand. I was messing with the map. Please. Okay. I don't know, how do we feel about the map? I guess it's too critical. I don't like having maps in games. I think it looks silly. But in this game, I think it's mandatory, because like how else would we even see where the mission icons are? As far as if everything else goes though, I tend to have the approach where everything is off until it's proven that I need it. So that'll be how it stays. I mean, it's kind of an old game, but I'm pretty sure it's new enough to have the mechanic where if you're injured, he'll visually show it. And if that's the case, I don't think we won't need to have the health bar on.
Look at that one. Pretty sure his shoes cost more than my rent.
Oh, there we go. You see nothing.
Will you let me back in if I do? What? Certainly not! Well then, if it's all the same to you, I think I'll stay up here.
Yeah, he's a funny fucker. It's kind of sad I came out of this game with the opinion that Arno was such a boring protagonist, and that's just not true. It's just because later on in the game he becomes incredibly, unforgivably sappy.
M'accorderiez-vous cette danse pour gentilhomme?
Merci. Un autre jour.
Sure, the plebs would riot this afternoon.
So I said to her, Marie, you call her Louis? Of course, I know. She's very good. What do you expect? She's half savage.
Did I hear them call somebody a half savage? Jesus.
She always did love the chase.
Don't do it. It leads to a really boring romance, please.
You seem to have caused quite a commotion.
Well, what can I say? You were always a bad influence.
Oh, you were a worse one. Are you wearing one of my father's suits?
Are you wearing a dress?
Don't even start. I feel like a mummy wrapped up in this thing.
Must be quite an occasion to get you so fancy.
It's not like that. Truth be told, it's a lot of ceremony and pontification. Dull as dirt.
Well, when you don't invite me to your parties, everyone suffers.
I did try, but my father was adamant.
Your father?
Go. I'll distract them.
What? You're kicking me out?
It's complicated. I'll explain later, but for now, out the window.
Oh, no. You're not turning this into a repeat of that apple orchard.
Stop being such a baby. I'm sure there aren't any guard dogs this time. Go!
You know what, that's pretty sweet. It's adorable. So, I mean, you know, that's a good start to the romance at the very least. Oh. Do we go for it? We do. He's distracted by the fire. Easy. His caveman brain overrid his common sense. Ooh. Okay, made it. Oh, let's walk. Less suspicious.
You all right, monsieur? Too much of the king's champagne? Monsieur? Monsieur de la Serre! Monsieur de la Serre! See there! Come away! Guards! Help! Murder!
It's kind of crazy. Because there's no cameras or anything, it's just... He's the murderer. Did he have the weapon on him? No. Was his sword covered in blood at least? No. We will arrest him. Some guy who we never found again said he was the murderer. I will say, I'm really not a fan of... I don't think we need to know how somebody became an assassin in every game. You know, like the Ezio trilogy, we kind of had that. And I think it worked there because he had 3 games of development, so you saw him essentially become an assassin, become the leader, and then retire. And for Assassin's Creed 3, they went kind of crazy with the prologue, which was interesting, I guess, and kind of made sense as well, I think, for that game, because well, you know, because he was Native American, he really and he came from a tribe, he really wouldn't have naturally joined the assassins because they live in very densely populated cities, it seems, for the most part. So it was interesting. He was like an outsider becoming, you know, an assassin, and he had a very fresh perspective. Whereas, you know, with this guy, like, you know, I'm sure, like, I know it's important to the story, but I would rather have just started as an assassin and work in a story there. We've had so many Assassin's Creed games. I really don't think we need to know. I'd rather just get straight into it, you know? Also, I'd really love a Lego Assassin's Creed game. Imagine like a little Lego man wearing a hood, doing Lego parkour. It would be amazing. Please, Lego, please make like an adult division and make adult themed Lego. You know? Like, I know they want to keep up the family friendly image, but just make it a subsidiary of Lego. Make it exactly the same, but just sell it online, you know? Even Disney Plus has like an adult section on their store, and that doesn't hurt their image as a family friendly thing. You know?
Where'd you come by this, pisspot?
None of your business, bitch.
No mood for this. Give it back. Take it back.
Alright. It's always very funny in games when they're like I'm sure he's not trying to hurt me. But for once, I would love somebody in these games who was like bullying the main character, like, oh, give it back, who was actually good at fighting and genuinely kicked your ass. Because, like, you know, he's trying to be all like, oh yeah, make me give it back, and then you just immediately kick his ass.
Well struck, pisspot. See if your defense is as good.
See what I mean? It's just embarrassing. Let's see if your defense is as good. Proceeds to just get kicked in the fuck. Jesus Christ, this poor man. Oh, good for you. You landed something for a change. Go on, try and land another one. Go on, just try. I'm a parrying god. You could never. He does have a big health bar. Am I supposed to lose this fight? Is that what's supposed to happen? Because his health bar is huge.
Give me what's mine, and go back to your crazy drawings, old man. Drawings? He's here. Everywhere. Scribbled like chicken scratches all over this cell. Where? Come here, you little pissball. Get your hands off me. Look at the wall. What are you doing? Concentrate. Concentrate. What are they? Messages from the past. I had myself thrown into after prisons in Paris in search of these. What's your name, boy?
How are they drawn on there though? Is it like invisible ink?
Arno Victor Dorian. Dorian. Of course. Pierre Belek. I knew your father. Bully for you.
It's a good answer.
Died at Versailles. In what? 76? 77? December, as I recall. No witnesses. How did you... Your father was an assassin, Arno. He gave his life, fighting for the liberty of all mankind.
Also, this is very reminiscent of
You stick with me.
just every game. Like every game, the protagonist's dad is either a Templar or an assassin, and it's like,
Listen, I'm sure your little
if you're gonna do this origin story, I'd rather have somebody who genuinely has no ties. Then again, I guess maybe it kind of shows how culty the assassins are or have become. But, you know, when you're, you know, maybe play as one of the recruits, just one of the random recruits you get in Brotherhood, and just make them an assassin. We'd get to see Ezio again. I'd love to see Ezio rendered with modern graphics, you know. And then just say Ezio sent him on a mission somewhere and then they got trapped there and did something, you know, that easy.
Focus, Pisspot.
What the hell is going on out there?
Citizens are restless. Keep an ear open. Opportunity might just come knocking soon.
That was cannon fire.
Sometimes opportunity sounds a lot like cannon fire.
Secure the prisoners.
Follow my lead.
Okay.
Before the guards come.
Fuck me, fine.
You in there. No good doing prisoners up against the wall. On whose authority? I told you this was going to end badly. Silence. Stay back. Stay back.
He's just standing there, that's so funny. Zero peripheral vision. That's okay.
Right. Let's get out of this shell.
That is one thing in this game. His sprint never feels very quick, which is more realistic, I think, because he sprints everywhere. So I don't think he could full sprint all the time, but when he's in a chase and he does like this half sprint, did you see that? That looked so good. The animation and the transition into that parry was so smooth. Come on, man. Let's fucking Jesus, bitch. Because the strikes are deliberately... They're not slow, but they're very paced, you know. I don't feel the need to just keep spamming the square button. I really just attack individually. And again, it creates this much nicer experience where... You know, because in like the Arkham games and stuff, I just constantly just spam square. Like I just tap it as fast as I can whenever I'm in combat and then tap triangle. I'm not doing that here, and it's far more pleasant. Come on. I've been shot at. Oh Jesus. Stop shooting at me. Ow. Ooh. I need to pick out. Have I got a lockpick? I've no idea. Fine. Nice.
Where now? Up. Brilliant. And how do we get down again? Trust me. I surrender. I surrender.
Fair enough.
What are you waiting for, Pisspot? It's time to jump.
What? Prism scrambled your brains, old man.
Drink took care of that a long time ago.
There's water down there, right?
Get up there!
I'm sure we'll be fine.
That's impossible.
Impossible? That's the purview of every assassin boy. If you can pluck your head out of your own arse, come find us. We'd make a great fit. Goodbye, Pisspot!
You'd make a great fit. You have no family. We can mold you into a murderer. That's cool. I never got that into AC Rogue. I played a bit of it right after Black Flag, but by then I was pretty burnt out on the whole ocean combat thing. But I do love the fact you start as an assassin and become a Templar. I really wish more games had a more nuanced take on it. Like, I wish you could choose. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? You could actually have different campaign options by choosing if you wanted to be an assassin or a Templar.
Please? That's some welcome.
One can't be too careful. But after what happened...
Elise,
Haven't you done enough to repay my father's kindness?
Elise, please. You can't believe I killed Monsieur de la Serre. Your father... He wasn't the man you thought he was. Neither of our fathers were.
I know exactly who my father was, Arno. And I know who yours was. I suppose it was inevitable. You an assassin, me a Templar.
You?
Does that shock you? My father always meant for me to follow in his footsteps. Now all I can do is avenge him.
I swear to you, I had nothing to do with his death.
But you did.
No. No! By my life, I swear I didn't. Is that?
A letter intended for my father the day he was murdered. Read it.
Grandmaster de la Serre, I have learned through my agents that an individual within our order plots against you. I beg you to be on your guard at the initiation tonight. Trust no one, not even those you call friends. May the Father of Understanding guide you. L.
I found that on the floor of my father's room. I know, Pen.
I didn't know.
Neither did my father.
How could I have known?
Just go. Please.
So, firstly, writing's difficult. And I appreciate what they were doing with the story here. Personally, I don't think it works very well. Sorry about that. For a few reasons. I think number one, the fact that Arno now, spoilers by the way, chooses to join the assassins, I don't buy. Because the assassins killed the person who raised him, essentially, after his father died. So I really don't think he would have turned to the assassins here. Secondly, I don't think Elise would have been so hard on Arno. She deals in death. She's essentially a death merchant. And I think she would have been fully prepared for her father to be killed, especially considering he could never have known. It's not his fault. She was in a privileged position to know about the assassins and Templars. If he had known, he would never have done that. So that's not very fair, and it just makes Elise very unlikable, which is a shame because it was a good start. I will say, I think overall it was a good prologue. It was a good introduction to the characters, except that last scene, as I said. Yeah, if I was to write it, I would have had Arno, because in the whole game, again, spoilers I guess, it's pretty old, I'm sure most people know about this game. Arno is a bit of a simp for Elise, and so it just makes Arno annoying to play as, because he keeps trying to reach Elise. So the fact that he doesn't know about the assassins, I think it would have made a lot more sense if, let's say, Arno had joined, if Elise had said, you know, you inadvertently got my father killed, and to repay him you should join us, the Templars, and you should help avenge him by finding his murderer, you know? And you could have made the murderer, instead of Sheikh Cormac, you could have made him like one of the assassins, let's say. And then maybe throughout the game he realises that she has been honeypotting him, essentially, and then he joins the assassins. It would have been a lot more interesting, I think. Instead he just joins the assassins just because he has nowhere else to go, even though he knows Elise is diametrically opposed to them. And I do not buy that for a second. I don't think he would do that. But, you know, maybe he just feels he needs to find some answers, which is understandable, I guess. But just personally, I think it could have been more interesting. That was quite the leap. We'll leave the cockades for now. Oh jeez. So yeah, anyway, what are your guys' thoughts? Let's see. I mean, they're popping in and out, but that's still very impressive how many NPCs there are there. What do you guys think about what I said about the story? Do you think I'm right? Or what would you have done to improve the story? Because if you're going to make him a simp, you might as well have made him kind of a victim of Elise. Kind of guilt-tripping him, because that would be very understandable. And it would make Arno very sympathetic, because you as the player understand it's not his fault, but you also understand where he's coming from. But, you know, like with Ezio, you really understood why he was an assassin, but I don't really understand why he becomes an assassin here. He just kind of does. He has some weird drug trip, and then he's like, I'm an assassin now.
I suppose a simple address would be too mundane.
Do you know what would be even more interesting? If, let's say you're going to go down the route where Elise is mad at him, okay. What if instead of joining the assassins, he decides he's going to seek out the murderer himself? And so that leads him to work for himself on the run as an outlaw, with both the assassins and Templars kind of getting caught up with him and trying to convince him that their creed is the best. And what would be really interesting is the outcome he came to was that they're both just full of shit, and that neither of them are fit to guide humanity. I understand the assassins are all about freedom, but maybe they have become corrupt over time, which I think would make a lot of sense. This game is set very close to the modern day, and I think it'd be interesting if we found out the assassins had kind of lost their way. Especially with all this, like, you know, secret, mechanical bullshit to enter. Like, I know this is not new to the AC series, but I've always hated it. I'd much rather he had just gone with the old man if that was his choice. I don't have to do this. As if they're just like, they're too good for him, and he needs to, you know, earn his place by figuring out this shit, you know? You know, in the Ezio trilogy, Ezio recruits assassins by just going to the people and talking to them, and that was it. He was just like, oh, you want to fight for a cause against oppression? You're already qualified. We will teach you.
Took you long enough, pisspot.
What is this place?
The sanctuary. A place we can train and prepare, away from the eyes of our enemies.
Didn't we just escape from a dungeon?
It's not a dungeon. It's a nerve center. Leads till we can get anywhere in the city, all without being seen. We have eyes everywhere.
Really? Seems visibility would be a problem.
I'm not a fan of this guy's outfit, but I do love the cloak. I really... You know, Altair had a cloak and a hood because it was to match the monks. But most people throughout history, I don't think a hood was a normal thing except on like a cloak like he's got. And that's a very natural way, I think, to have a hood. I said I like the suede a lot, but it looks very bizarre later on when you get a fully suede outfit with a hood. And it looks very noticeable. You're like, wow, that's an unusual outfit. It just draws the eye. Whereas if he was to just wear a regular outfit with a cloak, I think that would look far cooler. Like, come on, you see this shit? This is so culty and unlikable how they look down upon him. And he just joins them without...
Tired of running from my failures.
Or she just walked away.
My father. I want to make it right.
He's literally
Grandmaster de la Serre weighs on you.
walking into a cult.
You wield the blade yourself. Does it matter? The blame still lies with me.
إن ذنوبه تكل كيلاي. هل أنت متأكد من؟
أنا كذلك. إنه قادر على مواجهتي المحاكمة. سيكون جيدا.
Very well. Out of the dark you come into the light. From the light you will return to the dark. Are you prepared to travel the Eagle's path?
If that's a fancy way of asking, do I want your help? Yes.
Then drink.
I guess you could argue, well, you know, he's only using them for help. But I don't know, it would have been a lot cooler if he'd gone out on his own. Maybe him and the assassins would have been after the same targets. Maybe, in some cases, him and the Templars would be after the same targets. And maybe he'd, you know, make enemies of them both. Could have been so much more interesting, I don't know. And instead now they've mostly just abandoned it, like you play as just like a Viking in AC Valhalla, which is cool, but he's not even an assassin. Like, I know they did that for Black Flag and he was just a pirate, but I felt like they handled it quite well as over time he learned responsibility. Maybe that's the case for Valhalla and he becomes an assassin. But I really don't think so. I mean, you're a Viking and that whole game this is really silly by the way. But that whole game you're just like murdering innocent people to pillage them. I don't think he could ever be qualified to be an assassin. Then again, the Edward Kenway was a pirate and he did the same thing, but I don't know. It always kind of framed all of the ships you target as like Templar owned, as if you're inadvertently going against them, and so it's okay. I don't know. It's all very vague. But yeah, I hate this. I hate this trend of just like, you know, imaginary stuff. They did it in Spider-Man, you know, Spider-Man PS4, that one mission, and it was really lame, I thought. What does this mean? Is this telling? Could we not have had like actual character development to explain his thoughts and feelings rather than just, you know, oh, you know, he's just fucking, I don't know why that happened. I was holding left very aggressively. But could we not have had character development and conversations throughout the game rather than just we need him to be an assassin because the prologue's going on for a while, so let's give him like a dream sequence. Also, I can't believe they're making me run through this again because they just added fire. It's a hallucination. Why would the fire kill him? It makes no sense. What the? I guess you could say they gave him like poison and he was too weak and gave in to the poison. I don't know. I think it's fucking stupid. Again, the story is not the strong point of this game. It has a good start, I think, up until recently. It's the gameplay that I really like, and the fact that it's co-op. How the hell have we not had more co-op Assassin's Creed games? Co-op is fucking cool, man, right? Can't believe they didn't just immediately make every Assassin's Creed co-op. No, father. Please, father. Fuck me, it's still going. You could have just started the game as him being an assassin, you know. This is all very unnecessary. And loud, to be honest. This is like way louder than the rest of the game for some reason. No, Monsieur de la Serre, please.
You make a fine fit.
Somebody clearly watched Batman Begins before before making this. It's literally Batman Begins. That's so funny. Okay, cool. Oh no, I was the killer all along. Like, this is so on the nose, bruh. Just have actual character development, my dude. We don't need this. Nobody wants this. What's your guys' favourite Assassin's Creed outfit? I think mine is Edward Kenway's. It's so cool looking. And I love that he just rips off the sleeves. It looks very, like, breezy because of that, you know.
These are the words spoken by our ancestors, the words that lay at the heart of our creed.
Oh, I don't care.
Blade from the flesh of the innocent.
Hide in plain sight.
Never compromise the Brotherhood.
You know, I replayed AC2 very recently, and something Ezio says is that, you know, because he learns the truth of the assassins himself, and he says, the people in my life helped me and guided me without ever directly just giving me the answers. Like, look at these people just talking down to him. I really think it misses the point of the Assassin's Creed. And I would be inclined to say, well, that's the point. But it's really not, because he just becomes an assassin and stays an assassin the entire game. Okay, he's an assassin now. Sure. That was a fun thing about Assassin's Creed 2 as well, where people just they kind of nudged him along, and he kind of hunted down the killers himself. And then he slowly realized he's a part of something bigger in this game. It's just Arno gets the big sad and is like, I want to join a cult to maybe help me or something. And oh, she's back. Okay.
Now that you've experienced life as an assassin, are you willing to take up the fight and join us? Deacon, load the file.
No. What have you told me about your creed and what is good about it? You just showed me some simp who joined one.
But we won't share these things with just anyone. By
Yes,
pressing
you
play,
did.
you'll be joining the assassins. If you want to fight the Templar menace, if you're willing to save civilization from Abstergo's
Jesus
clutches,
Christ.
press play, sit back, and ready yourself for the truth.
Sure.
Good choice. Welcome to the Assassins, Initiate.
Okay. Yeah, dude, the story goes downhill. Just takes a nosedive. This is so lame.
In the 1950s, it was theorized that human DNA worked via the triple helix model. Some years later, the work of Crick and Watson demolished this theory in favor of the double helix. Today, we know the double helix to be indisputably the basis of all life. So why did the triple helix theory gain so much traction? Why did Rosalind Franklin's X-rays seem to confirm it? It turns out that their initial samples had been taken from small traces of precursor DNA, the rare genes of an ancient race embedded in our own. We now know that triple helix DNA is the foundation of the precursor genome. It is the genetic Rosetta Stone of our age. If we can crack it open, if we can sequence the full
What does a triple helix
genome,
look like?
there is no limit to the knowledge we will gain. Using Animus technology,
It's like a
precursor history
triangle.
will be open to us for the first time ever.
Weird.
Ancient languages will be unlocked, and ancient technology will be ours for the taking. Imagine what will be possible if we master the technology that underpins the pieces of Eden. Such discoveries would surpass 100-fold the splitting of the atom. Last year, we located a rich sample of precursor DNA in a donor whose genes contained human and precursor DNA at an incredible 25-to-1 ratio. Our work will begin with this sample. Our goal is to unravel the triple helix, sequence the precursor genome, and change the world for the better, forever. Welcome to the Phoenix Project.
So, this is where we stand. Last year, Abstergo acquired the body of a man we call a Sage, one of a rare breed of humans with a surplus of ancient DNA. This sparked a search for more Sages, in the present and in the past. The more Abstergo finds, the closer they get to their final goal. We blocked their recent attempts to find more, but Abstergo will not stop looking until they sequence a full precursor genome. So, why Arnaud Dorian? Why chase an assassin through the French Revolution? It turns out, at some point in his life, Arnaud came into contact with another Sage. We need you to find out when and where these meetings took place. If Arnaud was present for this Sage's death, it might lead Abstergo straight to his body. Naturally, we'd like to find it first. This is where you come in. It won't be simple. Genetic memory must be tackled in sequence to keep the data stable. But we're confident you're up to the task. And you won't be alone. Other initiates, assassins just like you, are doing their part to end this fight. If you need more training, more experience, you can call on them for help. All right. Loading the next sequence.
Cool. Yeah, I just want to get to assassin stuff, my dude. So yeah, like it's 1791, but I actually can't remember. I think it was 87, so it's 4 years later. I guess. I don't fucking know. So anyway.
I've got something else for you. The more time you spend with Arnaud, the more data we'll have to increase your synchronization look at this.
I don't care. Oh my god, okay, sure. This is so unbelievably silly. You can just like change your form as if you're in the multiplayer. Okay, well that's very useful, sure. We'll save the rest.
While you've been busy, I had Deacon do some poking around in Arno's memories. Seems he was a busy guy. See that symbol? That's a co-op mission. I play a lot of games multiplayer. I don't know about you, but I thought you'd like to mix it up a little. These are missions Arno ran with his assassin buddies, so they'll give you an idea of what our organization's about. Just walk into the glitch and you'll get all the details. I've marked them on your map.
So, what are your guys' thoughts on this outfit? Because I really like it, except for the hood. I think having this kind of jacket with a hood connected looks bizarre. You know? Like if you're trying to blend in, they should have had like a tattered outfit, which is normally the armor I wear in this game. But if you're going to dress high society, why are you wearing a hood? I mean, I guess you could just pretend, but nobody else wears a hood, so look how much he stands out. Whereas, you know, all of that is fixed. If you just give him a cloak, you know? What's the problem? Just give him a cloak.